Oh, it's a snake. It's a snake.
It's a badger. It's a snake. It's a badger.
Badger. That's a generation marker right there.
I know.
Oh damn! Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, my favorite one is what you call it, llama.
Oh, the llama song.
Yeah, llama.
I've never heard of the llama song.
God.
Oh, you've never heard?
Or if I did, then I definitely remember it. Is it like the Maya?
No.
It's
llama song is literally here's a llama, there's a llama, there's another frizzy llama.
Oh right, okay.
There's a llama sitting on a llama. Llama duck. I was once a tree house. I lived in a cake. Never thought I saw the way the orange slayed the break. I was only 3 years dead. Come on, little child, listen to the safety route.
Yeah.
Also, thanks, Dash. I now have to listen. Because that didn't they?
And there's also obviously what you call it, the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
Yes. And who can forget cats and a kitty cat and a meow 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 and a meow meow meow
meow meow.
So I know one that I know of, but I guarantee not a lot of you have heard of it. Have you ever heard of Magical Trevor?
I've heard the song.
It's Everyone Loves Magical Trevor because the tricks that he does are ever so clever. Fun fact, that's the same guy that did the Badger song, I think.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But he also actually did get a commission to do the BT advert.
Nice.
And all he did is he just rewrote the lyrics for Magical Trevor. So instead opposed to singing Magical Trevor, he was just ringing the BT helpline number 118 24/7.
Hmm.
But yeah, Weeble is amazing. He's like at every. I haven't missed him at a Comic-Con yet.
No.
He's lurking. He's always lurking about somewhere. You really have to find him.
Is he just hanging around with what you call it? With
he's often the creators bit near and stuff. He tends to get a stall near to.
I was gonna say.
Or in the YouTube creators bit. But yeah, he's been in there for ages.
And he remains elusive as ever.
Well, it's just the fact of like if you compare it to all the other YouTubers in animation and things like that, he doesn't churn out that much.
But when he does,
because he's already peaked, as it were.
Yeah.
Brian, could you say that he's hiding in plain sight?
You ever see a llama?
Oh, it's terrible.
I feel like I should know the reference, but I'm having trouble getting it.
It's a spell or skill in D&D.
Yeah, it used to be a skill in 3.5 called hiding in plain sight. So you didn't take any negatives whilst just like literally being in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Also, like Assassin's Creed, basically, we can teach you how to hide in plain sight.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Which I still need to carry on playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I got distracted.
You need to. I want to see you be the Viking that you intend to be.
Somebody said that they got their game corrupted and lost 30 hours worth.
No.
Painful.
That's gotta hurt.
It's in
yeah.
Geek Asylum.
Thankfully, that's what cloud saves are for.
Yeah. I myself am gonna get the Valhalla at some point, but I don't have it, and I won't be watching any streams pertaining to that particular game.
No.
That's fine.
Yes, because
I
don't want to spoil. Yeah.
Only because, like, how many hours did I get into Tash? It's like 6 hours before you hit, like, the title.
Yeah.
It has a lot of build-up.
There was a lot of build-up.
Yeah.
Cool build-up, don't get me wrong, but just, painful to sit there and watch.
Yeah.
Right then. Let's do the social stuff, and then we can get the stream rocking and rolling.
Yep.
Yes.
Just doing so. Been sharing it onto my Instagram, and I've been finding it works very well.
Thank you. I actually need to set up an
Sweet.
Instagram account.
I was going to say, I think for the next campaign, we should try, because I made a second account for all my Disney outfits and ears. And since doing that, I've got 100 followers within, like, a week.
Ooh,
The algorithm seems
nice.
pretty decent to sort of, it picks up people that do actually want to follow you.
That's
Follow
actually
your
really
stuff.
nice.
I won't post that. And that's
Whereas
Oh,
it's
so-
taken me 5 years to get to 1,400 on my cosplay account. It took me
Yeah.
a week to get to over 100 on my Disney one. So
Yeah. I myself have never gotten into like Instagram, but I actually thought that if I would have like a funny moment in my streams or something, I could actually post it on TikTok.
TikTok, I wouldn't suggest it because it is very, very, very screwed at the minute.
Yeah.
I never really liked TikTok, mainly because of the ownership. It's also part of the reason why I'm not into League anymore.
Oh yeah.
And I mainly keep up with the law. But also just because of how Tencent handles the property, it's downright upsetting.
Oh yeah.
So you bought the most profitable esport on the planet, and you've done what exactly?
Mm.
There we go. Share it on my story. This is my story.
Also, I think there was like Twitter introduced like fleeting or something.
But there's flighting in Valhalla.
Yes, there is flighting, and I only know what it is because of Valhalla, so thanks, game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As a mechanic thing, I like it. I will point out, by the way, Tash, I did actually play a bit more off stream, even though I said I wouldn't.
Aww,
I haven't progressed that far. I did like a ton of side stuff.
fair enough.
I was determined to be over leveled.
I mean, it's always good to be over-leveled.
Yes.
It's my
It
main
is.
problem with games like RPG mechanics. Is like, okay, clearly you have a set curve in mind, but you haven't worked this out.
Yeah.
It's been like, okay, here's a bad guy, you can't fight him yet. But why not? He's in my way. Well, you're not strong enough. But I want to fight him now. He's in the area I can fight him in.
Yes.
In fact, this is why I stand by, like, World of Warcraft has nailed the RPG system thing. Because
Yeah.
there will be bosses that will rares and elites that will be way above your skill level.
Yeah,
they're not
like
on the path, they're always away.
yeah, and like actually what I have actually noticed as I've been playing Shadowlands, it actually has been kind of interesting that you cannot basically like pull like massive amounts of NPCs on you and try to kill them, especially without a healer.
Yeah.
Because it actually made that it's actually a bit harder this time around.
Yeah, you're not a one-man killing machine.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
And welcome, Kira.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hello, Kira.
Hello.
Well, so how is everybody? We all good?
Yes,
Mhm.
we
Yes,
are
we can be.
good.
Hey,
Hmm.
Also, I
oh,
believe
excuse me.
That was
Uh,
sexy.
some
Welcome.
recapping might be in order.
Yes. Yes. I have to share this in the Warcraft chat on the Discord. This is too
Right.
good. Basically, all the zones, as described by their video game influence, and it's about right.
Yeah, pretty
so
much.
Bastion is very Disney Hercules. Ardenweald is Ori in the Blind Forest. Maldraxxus is Doom. Bloodborne is Revendreth, and then Diablo 3 for the Maw.
Yeah, currently I
Oh,
have
great.
gone through Diablo 3, Hercules, and going through Doom Eternal.
And I have finished all the campaign questing now. I've already joined my Covenant.
Nice.
I actually haven't yet because I've been a little bit tired.
Although, what class are you playing now, Foxy?
Currently, Worgen Death Knight,
In which
level
case,
55.
Well, think about it. I don't think you'll get the same abilities I have, because the one you get for being a Kyrian is basically like a free AoE judgment.
Yeah,
It's like, I need holy power. Bang! I've got it now.
yeah, like I need holy power. I'm the unholiest thing this
I can't remember the
crown
abilities were
carries
if you
on
were
it.
for a Death Knight. It's like the Kyrian one's like, okay, I'm doing a lot of mob farming. Do you know what's really handy? Lots of holy power.
Yeah,
The only things that give me holy power, I have 2 abilities, well 3. But one has a stupidly long cooldown, the other one only triggers every now and again, and one I get for a freebie on a critical hit.
yeah,
So I need more holy power generation, and this one is like an AoE holy power. So it's great.
Yes.
Just run into a swarm and go, and instantly I have 5 holy power. I can fight all day now.
yes, indeed.
I get distracted. Need to do the socials as my phone falls over. And
Yes.
put the flickers onto that. The wonderful main screen.
Yes.
Okay, and tweet sent.
Sweet.
Alright, so hi everybody. Welcome to Tales of Fumbles and Fortunes here on Tales of Gaming Addiction. That's bad news, Christy.
Oh no. What do you mean it's bad news?
Oh no.
That is bad news.
Oh snap.
Crackle and pop.
I sense heresy.
Sorry, I couldn't resist that one. So, that's not the kind of news you want to hear before Christmas, but anyway. Shall we get into recapping last week's dramatic episode for those that missed it?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes.
For the one
please.
person that wasn't here. So, last week we picked off where we left with the fight against the Prime Shadow Dragon of Ebonrath, where I nearly killed Foxy, and thanks to the valiant generosity of Twitch chat and this rare swing of events, gave him a full restore.
Yes.
And as we can clearly see on the battle map, 3 of you nearly died in the ensuing
Yep.
dragon slashing, biting tail nonsense. All going for the option of keep your distance, Marlon casting spells, Kira going for crazy dive bombs, and Tidak having pushed a possessed, well, not even a possessed, a risen Gardex off into the abyss.
Mm.
Where he's gone, nobody knows. But you guys also managed to complete the ritual that was necessary to seal away Evanrath into a small blackened husk. And you all got a kind of like sped up creation sort of story, as it were. So you saw the Prime Dragons coming and Evanrath going from tiny
So pretty effing big.
kind of, yeah, I was trying to think of a word like non-threatening.
Oh.
He was powerful. I mean, he had an aspect, but it was like, no, it's not really coming to play yet.
Vulnerable?
Maybe.
I'm back, by the way.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
We're just saying
Welcome
bad news,
back.
what you posted in the chat.
Yeah, well, it's been all over the news all weekend. We were just sort of
Here, just
waiting to see.
waiting to see if that was now you're.
I mean, obviously, it's still all up in the air because they're gonna try to sort of keep it going as normal for as long as possible. But we shall see.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
we've got a world to save.
Well, this is the funny thing, you know. The ritual was completed. You got the sped up view of creation, and the world technically is saved. You know,
Well, that
the
seemed
full-
particularly easy.
Well, so to carry on where we left off, of course, when you sealed away Evanrath, you all heard laughter and people like going, you know, pay up, I've clearly won the bet. Oh, no, you haven't. And you got the inkling that you guys were literally a god's plaything. They were bored and had a bet on the outcome of this.
Oh yeah,
Tebek would like to
fun.
kill all the gods. I mean, what?
Please don't go and fight the gods. I don't have a stat block for them.
Women! I mean, what?
Well, congratulations. Their strength is now 99. All their stats are 99.
Hmm.
They have 99 d20 hit points plus 99 con. They are now a CR 99.
I mean, what?
Yeah. But yeah. I'm trying to think now where we actually left off. I didn't take any notes on that.
Oh yeah, there was a thing where we all had to make charisma saving throws. Being the worst of them all, has a need, and it's not of the sexual kind.
Yes. It's
I'd say.
well, it's not really a need. It's like an absent-minded thing. Like some people will twirl their hair or bite their lip, or you know. It's our mental tick, and you pick up over it every now and again. But first of all, I need to take a Mr. Dom away for a second.
Oh no.
Come with me.
So how dead am I, Brian? On a scale of 1 to pretty damn dead.
Well, pretty damn dead, unfortunately. Your character did die in Dragonflame. But you are pushed off the edge by a very tear-filled Tidak.
Mhm.
And as you fall through the darkness of the abyss, you are pulled through the astral sea, and you see... have you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey and like the Stargate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you get that kind of vibe as you start falling through reality. And you do... In fact, roll for me, please, a D8, I think it is. He says now needing to check his own law book. Not that profile, it's in that profile. Come on, Google Drive, Planes of Existence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, a D10.
Okay, D10.
Indeed. Where does Gardex actually end up?
Number 4.
Ooh, how interesting. Okay.
Plane of Fire!
How did you know?
God.
So you are flung through the astral sea and you arrive onto a plane of hot, ashy rock and molten magma.
Oh, great.
But whilst Ebonrath has been sealed and Gardex is now an undead walking the plane of fire, you now have a drive for Gardex, if you so wish to develop his character further. And that drive is quite simply to restore the Master to his former glory.
Oh God, I'm still possessed.
Mm-hmm.
No. Wait a minute, I still technically have my water crystal, don't I? Or is that irrelevant at this point?
No, all the elemental crystals got used. Because we got asking after the fight, who had the what crystals on them? And we all forgot. Even I forgot. So yes,
Right.
so Gardex, complete with artifacts in hand, as a level 14 level 16 character, is now wandering the plane of fire, looking to restore Ebonrath to his former glory.
Christ. What a way to go for Gardex. Is he truly lonely now that he has Ebonrath in his head?
That's up for you to decide. But anyway, that's what I shall inform you with.
Now that's awesome.
I did try to play Gardex as best I could, but T-Dak is just too strong, man.
Nah, fair play. Fair play to Tida. That was a strat. I don't blame him.
Okay, right. I'm going to throw us back up to the others.
Oh, they're back.
I
Hello.
will say, Dom, you are very well.
Hello.
Your
Just
mistress
picked
is
up
most
random
pleased.
parts of the conversation.
So yeah, I've informed Dom of what happens to Gardex when he fell.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They just kept falling and falling and falling.
It's almost
Eventually,
as
he's
if
going to hit solid ground. He'll just be screaming. He's been falling for 20 minutes.
Yes.
It's like that one scene out of like Spy Kids 3 where you're going down a volcano but your watch doesn't tell time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was thinking, like, think about it. If you would be falling like 24 hours straight, you fall asleep middle of the fall, and then you wake up and you're still falling.
you fall asleep.
God
That
damn
was
it.
him, not me. I just picked it up.
Yes.
Some things never
Oh,
change, Ted.
Tash, you missed one on the Formula 1 stream the other day.
The what now?
You said you had to go in the chat, so I said, right, I'll see you later, Tash. I'll probably be tired by the time you get back.
Yes.
Get it? Racing. Tired.
Yeah.
The pun.
The puns.
Rip.
The puns, they are just big. The campaign might be a little bit on the end stretch,
So
but the
just
puns
begun.
are just beginning.
I mean, we got to keep driving at them, guys.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, aren't you glad I can't keep adding pun damage to Ebonrath's breath attack?
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So Gardex is now up to date on where he stands at the end of this adventure. What about the
Yep.
rest of you? You are sitting there in essentially the cold void of the astral plane, somehow connected to the Shadowfell still, but with a sealed Ebonrath and the gods taunting it. Well, this is nice. Job's all cleaned up and tidied up. So who's for drinks?
Ted, I would still like to kill all the. I mean, no. I mean, no.
Well,
What the hell do we do with the
Alright.
sealed away Evanrath, though?
yeah,
mean-
Lauren is just thinking, like, what next?
Do we just leave?
The hell do we do with
Take the
it?
key under the mat and leave? Like, well, to be fair, we've got to take the thingies back, haven't we, to their realms? Because we did promise.
Yeah,
Wait, we?
What?
Really?
we?
Did we? Or we promised that we'd look after the different
You've got
gems and
elements of
that.
shards to do something with.
I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose we could put them back. Maybe.
I'm sure there was one of them that we said that we'd bring it back to them. Might have been the water one.
It was the water
Right at the
one.
beginning.
Like, we'll just throw it and then be like, we'll just throw it and run. Like, don't just say, "Here you go, man." Like, otherwise they get really angry with us.
So you just pour back to the plain water. Hopefully, you end up at the same place you arrived in. Just launch it. Just run away.
Yes.
Eat the
Yes,
bitch.
you're gonna run away.
I approve of this plan.
But does anyone have heat metal, by the way?
No.
No.
The one person I think that did currently isn't with you guys.
Hello.
Oh, damn it.
I'm the dead one.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of Ralph on The Simpsons. I'm wearing a bathrobe and
Oh.
I'm not even sick.
Damn it.
I'm a danger.
I'm in danger. I was in danger.
Mm.
Ugh.
All right. Well, I mean, Tedak not know what to do because Tedak is not smart and he is not of the brain disposition.
What do people want to do?
Heal?
Oh.
I'd kind of like to heal a
We
little.
could have a
Maybe we
short. We could have a
could.
short rest or a long.
I think we could have a long rest. I hope.
Tedak's on 24 hit points. He ain't looking very good.
Kira's on 17.
We need long rest.
Yeah.
I'm on 11. A long rest might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
Yeah.
nearly killed 3 of you.
Yeah,
And you saw how
Noran is
big
at
the breath cone
83.
was. Oh, that's fine, actually. I don't
Yeah.
think Dom actually saw the size of the breath cone, did he?
Did he?
Let me see if I can bring it up. So, by the way, Dom,
Oh,
you
no.
know you got hit by the beam version of that breath attack.
Yes.
Be glad he never got it back in dragon form.
Oh god.
It was a whopping huge 90-foot cone. That look.
That
That is all I
face.
wanted.
That's 90 feet. No, please.
Yeah.
That's 90 feet
It
of
just,
milk.
he has to sit in the middle and pick a corner. So anyway, you guys take a nice long rest. You regain your necessary hit points and abilities. Rolling of the d12, that was for suspense, and now this is for much more interesting things. Interesting. So you rest, recover.
Killed all the gods in their sleep. I mean, what?
Gods don't need sleep.
You say that, but why is there a god of sleep if they don't need to sleep?
Because it's the
Yeah.
god of our sleep.
Correction, Morpheus is the god of dreams, not the god of sleep.
Excuse you.
He protects something entirely different. You sleeping is inconsequential.
So if there's no god of sleep, then
Also, technically, Kira doesn't sleep.
true.
I don't. Oh, rapper. Well, I'm only half elf.
Oh,
I don't have in my brain you're a whole elf.
I
I think because Sinju was always the whole elf that wouldn't sleep. I just sort of meditate, wouldn't I?
Yeah, elves
Yeah.
tend to doze.
Whereas,
Yeah, it's
whereas Jin and
everyone. But Jin
what's his
is
name?
drow.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
Jin,
getting a
would
little
go to
side
sleep.
thing.
Jin was a full elf as well. He was drow. Dark
Yeah.
elf. The best elf, in my opinion. Oh,
I'm trying to remember. Do half elves sleep or do they have reverie?
let me double check that. Part of my
They
brain's
kind of
saying,
go in a trance.
yeah,
Oh, it was reverie in second edition. I don't know if it still is or not.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Nope, you still sleep normally.
Okay. Kira passed the fuck out then.
Yeah. Yeah, you have advantage against being charmed, but you can't magically be put to sleep. But you don't have the elvish thing of being able to go into that trance.
Either way, we're off to put the shards back in their place and hopefully
Yes.
not be met with dire consequences.
Hope not.
Looks to
Well, you
Brian.
did kind of save all the worlds.
Yeah.
Well, putting the shards back is not a difficult thing. The only question is, how are you getting out of your current predicament?
Walk back the way we came.
Hold on, do your
And
magic
Twitch chat,
thing!
you got that the other way round. Messing with the DM bad. Messing with players good.
No,
Well,
no,
I'll
no,
do
no,
magic.
no,
No. I had it right.
Well, you certainly go back the way you came. The only thing is you lack a plane shift. Oh no, wait, no, you've been arrested, so no. But you can happily plane shift back. Ignore me.
Yeah, I should be able to do it.
Yeah.
Hopping.
Okay.
Do I just need to do teleport?
No, plane
Oh.
shift. It's a different spell, which I think you have through the power of your staff. But
Yeah.
anyway, you shift yourself through the planes, so you go from your sort of little pocket here in the Shadowfell back to the prime material plane. And your constructs, Christy, within the Bronze Tower come rushing over to you. And so please, they have you back
excellent.
and everything else, and they give you a hug, and they tell you that you have been gone for several months.
Oh. Time does fly. Then you're in a different realm.
Well, make an intelligence check for me.
I would say Marlon's quite intelligent.
It
Yeah.
should be as the wizard.
As a word.
I said a check, not a saving throw.
Oh. My mistake.
That's right.
And then I roll rubbish. It came up straight away though.
It did, which is always good news.
But now we're waiting.
No!
There
That
we
was a
go.
good first roll, though.
Yeah, that's the best roll of the night.
Oh, natural one.
Oh,
Why is it saying you only got one intelligence?
+1 intelligence. Hang on. Yeah. +1 intelligence.
No, your intelligence is like +4.
That's what it's got down the side. On my sheet.
DM needs to fix this.
I've
That's
got
all I
like
have on
7
D&D
plus wisdom. I've got like 7 plus wisdom. 1
Yeah.
plus intelligence. 2 plus dexterity. Plus
Yeah, your
3
intelligence would be
constitution.
+4. Why is it? That's wrong. 8. No, not 12. Lucky, there we go, 18. Now give it a roll. No, it's saying 20. Why is it getting +2 from? Oh, that's where it's getting +2 from. Right, I see what's going on here. Let me double check D&D Beyond. see what's going on here. Bear with me a second, folks.
Quick, activate some elevator music.
That's why I have the background music on the stream. That's why.
Yeah, we were
yes.
trying to work out if you were on stream or we were when you went earlier.
And I went. I didn't realise something happened. Oh wait, right, okay. Now give it a roll. You'll. Still.
Intelligence, yeah?
Yeah.
+5 for intelligence now.
No, I just fixed it. It was +4. I put it to 16, realising. Oh wait, no, it's the staff is giving you extra things, which is bumping it up even higher.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll.
I have. We can just sit
Now
and
we
wait.
just wait.
Now we wait most patiently.
Often get a cup of
Oh,
tea and
by
it's
the
still not
way,
come up.
while we're waiting, a little bit of a history related question.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know what day today is? What happened 81 years today?
I feel like I should know.
You say 80 or 81 years?
81 years ago.
On the 30th of November.
But it's St Andrew's Day today. Because that
That's
is
true.
why my
Yes,
dad
it
is
is.
called Andy.
Nice.
Because he was closer to St Andrew's Day than he was to Christmas. If he was closer to Christmas, he was going to be Nick. St Nicholas.
I don't know, Foxy. What happened 81 years ago today?
A conflict called Winter War broke out.
Right.
Yeah.
As
Hey.
part of 105 days.
Okay. So what? So what happens? Like,
Why
It
is
was
it?
part of World War II. But it was on Finnish frontier. It was Finnish versus Russians.
Yeah, you see, the British educational system is rubbish with history.
yeah. So,
It is.
They don't teach us the blooming Georgian. At our school, they didn't teach us about Georgians.
Yeah.
They taught us about teepees,
Oh yeah.
American history.
Yeah.
So we did up to Tudors, then they skipped everything, did Victoria, and then went on to the World Wars.
See,
And
mine
it's
was
Yeah.
like, I'm
different.
pretty sure there was something happened in between
we did-
Tudors and
Well, we did the
Victoria.
Tudors and Stuarts. We skipped Victorians, but we went straight into like World War One, World War Two, which was weird.
Yeah, see, we
I
skipped
can't even.
like most of Stuarts and Georgians and what have you. That in between bit,
Yeah.
and did like American history and teepees and Native Americans, which I'm
And
not
there
like
we
complaining at.
have-
I like learning about that, but it would sort of make sense in a British school to teach us like British history as well.
Yeah. And then there's the role.
Anyway, back to the game at hand. So I used an
Yeah.
extension called Beyond.
Did
20
it
to
appear? Sorry,
roll- No, it didn't. I used an
it's
extension.
still not rolled.
No, I used an extension
Oh.
called Beyond 20 to force the roll from D&D Beyond. Still didn't roll
Oh,
great.
yeah.
But you rolled what you rolled earlier, which is embarrassing. But
How
still.
about it is anyway? Just popped.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, as a wizard, you know that time will pass when you hop between rounds because it's not like you'll work on. You are basically like going from Earth to Mars and back again.
Mm.
You're not only losing time in the trip, you also lose time from going in, what have you. Relativity, kids. It's complicated.
Yes, and time dilation is a thing.
Mm-hmm. So, at a rough guess, when they say months, they mean a lot of months. Not like 1 or 2. This is getting beyond 2-hand counting.
Yeah.
So almost a year.
Yeah, getting over that point. So,
Yeah, well, as long as we save the world, I don't think it matters quite how long we took at all.
Yeah.
no, but there have been the sort of head construction reports whilst you've been gone. There have been some problems whilst you've been
Oh,
gone.
great.
Oh.
Excellent.
And he reports you all that the world's not the same as you left it. And he points out various natural disasters that have happened around various spots around the world. Things like the seas have been exceptionally higher than usual, winds have been incredibly strong. And what have you. There's been a lot of environmental damage.
So I wonder if that's because we have the blooming stones which control it all.
Yeah, you get that suspicion, yes.
Yes, but we're going to send them back.
And none of it's not really been good.
Yeah.
We got to do Avengers and go back to the time that we took them.
Yeah, you got to time heist this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to come back as a...
Oh, no,
Do a Captain
I'm not dealing with time
America.
travel.
Yeah.
and relive, go back to the start of the campaign to go back through the campaign to take the things back at the right time.
Okay. So what we doing?
Well, there's not much you can do except for take them back.
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah.
taking them back then.
Yeah, well, yeah, just say when we want when we're going to jump. You know,
Preferably.
well, yeah, we jump.
All right.
So by the power
Jump, man, jump!
with the power of travelling by map, you quite again. I was planning this to be quite literally the epilogue.
Yeah.
So
That's what I mean,
putting
just
the bits
go
back
ahead.
is no problem. You partially undo all the damage you've done, so the water plane has its kraken returned. The earth plane has its when you put the earth shell back, it begins to slowly rejuvenate one of the purple worms you killed. The phoenix is returned to the plane of fire. Although whilst you're in the plane of fire, you do hear rumours of a half-orc with a 2-handed hammer
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Are there?
causing issue. But no one can seem to find him.
All right. Looks like we'll have
Maybe
to
like a
hunt.
Batman call out into the sky.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
And also you guys put the gem back into the city, which is still full of dead bodies. Congratulations.
You're welcome.
And returning back to the prime material plane again, not so much time has gone past, but you have now calmed the world down again. And it does seem to be this feeling of peace, calm for the first time in ages. Oh, it feels like ages
Yeah.
for you guys.
That is really good.
Nice happy 16 levels, although the half-orc pricks your minds occasionally. Do you notice that T-Dak occasionally scribbles this weird mark
Oh, yeah.
with his finger on the
Scribbling.
table and things like that? It's quite clear your adventures have left you with a few scars.
Yes.
But I suppose the only question is for you guys, what's the end of your characters?
What
How
comes
does it end?
next?
Put you all on the spot for once.
Well, as things have been pretty well. So, Maren asks to Kira to remove the cursed armor. And he is going to be probably looking forward for maybe next adventure. Or then he just finds a nice glade where he can actually live in peace and keep in contact with the party in if needs be.
Well, the Bronze Tower is there-ish. If you
Yes.
zoom right in, you can see the tower poking out through the tree line. There are a few glades nearby, so there are certainly spots for Melvin to have his feast. Although I will say, as you get the armor off, it's the most painful experience in your life. It's like peeling off a plaster really slowly.
Yes, of course.
Like the slowest waxing ever.
Yes.
But it's not actually removing hairs, but it's that sensation. It's like, oh, this is painful.
Yes.
But you do have a cool suit of cursed armor if you want to put it back on again.
Yeah.
Alright, so that'd be the end of Melvin's story. What about T-Deck?
T-Deck, still having like his sort of notebook of like drawings and of their adventures and things, and sort of
Sells
decides.
publisher. No, I'm joking.
Fan fiction!
Like,
Sorry.
he doesn't quite know why, but he decides to put those drawings onto canvas in sort of very intricate oil paintings, as he has shown potential talent over the course of the adventure. But in all of the paintings that he is painting, there's always this symbol that he paints onto the paintings, regardless of the scene and regardless of where the setting is. There's always that symbol, like lurking around, whether it's carved onto a tree or on a sort of tapestry banner thing in a grand hall, or just in cloud formations. And his sort of reckless and sort of like almost barbaric technique has dubbed him by many of those who follow his artistic adventures the ballistic brush, because of how brash he is with like his brush strokes, and just have no sort of thought into just painting it. He's just doesn't really plan. He just does it.
I can't shake this feeling now of like T-Dag having a painting unveiled somewhere and someone going, yes, lovely use of colour and technique, but I find all strokes very inadequate, and T-Dag just launching a spear that happens to be paintbrush shaped into his face.
That's a barbaric stroke, isn't it?
And
I see why they call you the barbaric painter.
I see why they call you the ballistic brush. But yeah, over time, rumors have started to spread of his more like aggressive way of painting, and many years later, he sort of disappears off into obscurity. Although rumours circulate that he has begun living in some mountains, sort of isolating himself from everyone. Whether it's due to survivor's guilt, or whether it's just the nagging voice in his head of a certain shadow dragon. All people do know is that the symbol seems to follow him wherever he goes. And they can find like little trails of like markings all over rocks and trees and various places, like a kind of graffiti sort of thing.
Like a Banksy tag.
Yeah, like a Banksy tag.
Oh, get out of my head, Brian. I was about to say Banksy.
Alright then, well, Tiadak, your token is available on the map. Would you like to place yourself where your adventure ends?
Oh god. Damn.
And then as we do that, Kiro, what's the end of your story?
Kira thought about retiring, but still a bit too restless to want to give up the adventuring life quite yet. She does avoid Sterling, though, but just kind of wanders here, there, wherever the wind takes her, until she comes to a seaside city and decides to take a ship somewhere. Anywhere. Shouldn't care where it's going.
Oh, this sounds almost like Kira would be going like one-way ticket.
Well, I will say regarding your ship, if it helps you flash out your future adventures, the ship that you end up serving on is an old vessel. And I do mean really old. She has no real purpose in this time and age. And you can see it's got sails on it and everything else, but it is manned mainly by small folk, like halflings, gnomes, goblins. But the ship itself, you can see etched along the sort of the side of the prow and along the back of the stern. This is called the Big Claw.
Hmm.
The Big Claw? Have I heard of that before?
Make a history check.
Take it, we mean boat, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you guys can see where this is going. Oh, very good history roll.
Yep.
There is legends of this ship called the Big Claw. This ship was once feared across the strait known as Leather Small as a pirating ship. But it was ferociously manned by kobolds, of all things.
We know. From here, Tash. Bob. The fierce Captain Bob.
Indeed.
Yeah,
this was once the great
also
flagship of Bob's Little Claw.
Yes.
Yes.
Although it is no longer manned by a kobold that would fit Bob's description anymore.
Oh.
You are instead greeted by a green kobold.
Mm.
Well, which is strange, because normally most kobolds tend to be brown and reddish. This one being sort of the greenish hue is kind of weird. But he does speak with a certain eloquence and a bit of a French accent. And says, Bonjour, mademoiselle, welcome to Le Grand Claw. I am Monsieur Little Claw. My father trained me on this very vessel. Nope. Bob's descendant. Is an outrageous green captain.
Wait a minute. If the kobold's green, doesn't that mean that Bob got dirty with a...
There was a druid, she was into many a thing.
Well,
I'm not going to kink shame. But he welcomes you openly.
Hey, you might be part ogre, not ogre, orc. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Half orc.
all I'm
let's go
going to say
through
is
all
things
the old
get mean when
campaign
you
stuff.
get
It's like-
down with the green.
Well, I was going through Hero Lab not Hero Lab, Hero Forge for the model stuff. I was going across like all the old things I made from the first campaign, so it was like, oh, cool, Meadow. Yeah, I wonder what happened to. Oh, yeah, that's an idea.
Oh. Oh no.
Meadow.
How would Duracell feel about this?
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't she sucked in with what's her name? Wasn't she like
Meredith.
vampire with Meredith?
No, she was the host of Feridas.
Yeah, but
I mean-
I'm sure Meadow
This is
wouldn't,
great,
because
yeah.
Meadow was Dorothil's other half.
Well,
They got together.
I can't remember.
I mean, I think Duracell had a bit of a crush on her. Like,
Yeah.
That was
But
like how it
then-
ended. Was he was in like the tavern with her and what have you, Dorothil. So I thought that was sort of like
Except-
I'm
end
making-
game.
I'll have to get in touch with Ed and double check.
she had to like become the tiara, and like Duracell apparently burned down the guilds. And
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay, I have a different backstory to that child. No. So for my backstory, that the kobolds ended up finding Shinju's husband. What you call it? As payment, Shinju was like, you can sleep with any of them.
Oh. That's so adorable. I am so
Yeah.
glad that I had saved Bob Littleclaw. He's become even more of a freaking legend, man.
Yeah.
but anyway, we are getting way off track. So,
Yeah, we are getting way off track.
Mr. Littleclaw offers Kira a chance to join the crew and become part of the feared Big Crew Pirate League. I will point out, by the way, like he is outrageously French.
Oh.
Like,
Is he
even his
Lafayette?
His hat was, it's that musketeer style of hat, but it's way too big for him.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever seen like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons,
Oh
think
yeah,
like
the
Jerry
old
but
school.
wearing like Tom's size hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm glad you all like the fact that Bob had kids.
Yeah.
It felt right to
That
keep
makes
the
the best
legacy
thing.
of Bob alive.
This pleases me so much.
Yeah, it does.
But continue, Kira. I'm so sorry.
Sorry for hijacking.
Alright.
We will explain all. Maybe.
So, mademoiselle, do you accept our offer as to join the crew?
Mais oui, monsieur.
You'll speak my language.
Un peu.
You can see now he is completely smitten that someone else can speak out an outrageous French, and he starts ordering the crew, and they set sail into the sunset for whatever crazy adventures Kira and a gang of... Should also point out, by the way, again, it's manned by small people. You are like a giant among them.
Kara at her whopping 5 feet tall. She's never felt. She's actually never felt tall in her life till now.
But yeah, you can sail off quite literally into the sunset.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Bob is in the last campaign. An eternal thorn in my side.
From the
And
very
we-
first episode.
Mm.
And we also learned that kobold rogues are extremely deadly.
Yes.
Pack tactics with rogue abilities and it's an extremely deadly combo.
Yes.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? I need an advantage to score critical hits. Well, it's funny that pack tactics give me advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I heard the bot go off. Thank you for the follow, Sith Warrior Girl.
Hey!
Hey.
Oh,
Why did
yay!
the alert box
Welcome.
not go off? Where's the alert box? I didn't see the alert box.
And if any other Sith are in chat and considering following, do it.
Do it. Do it.
Sub him.
Oh,
Oh, interesting. Turns out that Streamlabs has lost my custom alert.
Oh.
I've got to make some more.
douche nozzle.
Rude.
Indeed. It's very rude of Streamlabs to do that. But anyway. So, lastly, but no means least, Marlon.
Are we really at me if we done everyone else?
Yeah?
Oh, I had sort of vaguely thought what Marlon would do. And at the beginning of the campaign, he was looking for the one best ingredients in the world to make sweets from, which kind of got sidetracked, as you can tell. So that's what Marlon would do. He's going to walk off into the sunset, still searching for that perfect ingredient.
Oh, somehow in the back of my mind that works so well. It's like the world needs a defender of magic. While I sit there going, no, it's fine. I need to find this one perfect thing. I need to find the perfect vanilla pod.
Like, that is why
Yeah.
that's why he left the bad guys in the first place, you know, this cult in the first place, because they wanted to do all evil stuff. Is that I only joined you because I thought you had this ingredient. But that was literally the whole idea behind Marlon, was that he was searching for the perfect ingredient. And it never happened.
Somehow
so-
that's the most fitting thing ever.
Yeah.
Goes off with his army of gingerbread men.
Indeed. You have the knowledge of making arcane sweets.
Yeah.
Nothing is more deadly. Alright then. And with that, I think it's appropriate to say that this campaign is wrapped up,
Yes.
Da-da!
which has been enjoyable. 100 weeks of D&D.
Yes. It has
Wow.
been really enjoyable.
So yeah, I hope you guys have all enjoyed playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next one.
Indeed. Which we
Yeah.
kind of need to sort out, because obviously I need time to prepare.
Yep.
Yes.
Because if we went next week, a certain Illidari shouting in my ear, "You are not prepared," would be very appropriate.
You are not prepared.
Yeah. Yes. Lord Illidan knows the way. A TM is never prepared. But I will say for you guys, I have dropped a link in our private little Discord chitty chat,
Yes.
which will link you to D&D Beyond.
We do.
Sourcebooks are available. This does include Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron.
Alright.
Sorry, not Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron.
Ooh.
Explorer's Guide to Wildmount.
Ooh.
And the new
Ooh.
Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So which if you guys haven't picked it up yet, I would recommend buying it on sale.
Yes, which
That's all
is
I will
going
say.
on right now because
think I've
it's
got it for Christmas. I'm saving myself.
$19.99 per book.
What timeline is this next campaign going to be on?
So that's kind of what we're probably going to be discussing really and helping flash out. So do you guys want to go back earlier in the timeline of this campaign setting? So let me bring up the guide. So there are 4 eras you can pick from. There is the
Right.
era of heroes. So little is documented about this age beyond song and myth. During this time, many heroes emerged, kingdoms and dynasties rise and fall. Ultimately, it ends it's declared an end when the Dragonborn Empire is spread to its furthest extreme, which is this entire continent. Or there is the era of dragons, which is the era that follows. During this age, the prime dragons begin to establish their temples across all the known civilizations, and other races begin to worship them as demigods. And this is kind of when you get that interaction between like Rome and Carthage and everything else.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
Cool.
So there's a bit of a history to explore, and the era ends at a period called the War of Dragons. That's when the Prime Dragons then begin fighting each other, and the world does actually change. So if you came back this way in the second era, Lilith Small would actually still be a land bridge, not the Wreck of Islands that it is
Oh
now.
wow.
And various other things might have changed. Then you have the third era, which is where the first campaign was set, which is the era of sorcery. So if you pick this era, the only exception is you cannot pick the sorcerer class without running it past me first.
Right.
Mhm.
Because there was specifically a select amount of dragon bloodline sorcerers. So it's a case of, right, okay, which dragon blood?
Yeah.
And it's heavy restrictions, shall we say.
Right.
But again, that's the kind of stuff that's covered in the first campaign, and you guys were currently running about in the era of mortals, which is the fourth era.
Mm.
Ooh. Ooh.
Indeed, in chat, you can help out as well.
You know what I think, guys?
What?
I totally think we all roll a d4 and see what happens.
Go for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
But if you guys are right with an overall setting as well, because I want to throw some extra rules in to try and spice the game up a bit from your regular D&D show.
Oh, that sounds,
Yeah.
sounds hype. I'm game.
Yeah,
So-
we're game.
So if
Can I
you're
be a
right with
wrestler like from Ring Warriors and totally have a crossover? Yo!
it, it might be possible. So in terms of setting in place and everything else, you guys won't be here on the continent. You'll be off to the west, over onto the land of the elves.
Go.
the Elven.
Do, do, do,
Indeed.
do, do.
So very
Good.
Japanese Oriental themes.
Ooh.
But yeah, I remember you mentioning about that.
Yeah, so like if we put it in the same time frame as now, in historical sense, like it would be Meiji period Japan. During Era 3, it was like the Sengoku Jidai and so on and so forth.
Ooh, the Japanese era. Oh god, it
Yeah,
sounds
Japanese.
so good.
Myths and everything else.
Oof.
But in terms of extra rules I want to throw in, so I want, if you guys are all right with it, I'd like to throw in the honor score as an
Okay.
extra stat.
Oh.
So as opposed to the,
Right.
so you get the usual 6, but you get a 7th one called honor, and you can use your honor score in place of like your charisma or any relevant social checks. So, you know, like you go up to a noble and you know, like, from your honor score, how low you need to bow in a situation and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it can also be used to give you, like, a rush job. So, like, you need a sword done from a blacksmith today. You can say, you know, you'll bring great honor and things like that.
Hmm.
I'd also like to bring in the hardcore rest mechanic that is in the DMG.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah,
this is
Let's
the big
go.
This is the big one.
Godberries, everyone. Someone get yourself some godberries.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, the hardcore rest mechanic is normally in a game of D&D, a short rest is about an hour and a long rest is 8 hours. So
Yeah.
basically a breather and a sleep. The hardcore rules knock that up to 11. So a short rest is the 8 hours sleep. The long rest is a couple of days.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Like I said, it makes it hardcore because then the classes that have short rest like mechanics, action surge, your refresh now is severely limited. And things like that. I believe it also affects your hit dice as well. He says, needing to double check the rules. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Would you have any restrictions when it comes to character building? Like, are there races that wouldn't exist in certain eras? Or wouldn't be as prevalent?
If we went back to the very early days, then it would predominantly be elven folk. Certainly half elves. There will still be like the other races, but you'd be much, much, much rarer. And there may be some racial terms that you wouldn't like to be called. It's like the N word.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just going to put the in the D&D chat. That word.
Yeah. Yeah.
If anyone's seen the South Park episode, you know exactly what word it is.
Naggers? As in people just nagging?
Daggers? Are you talking about Karen?
Oh,
my
Tash, you
god.
need to see this. Have you not seen the South
nagging.
Park episode?
Oh, I'm a terrible human being.
Oh my god, all these Karens nagging at me.
Oh,
Oh, God!
I was not expecting it to go that way. But yes, some races may be called certain things. I'll write up a more detailed thing over this week for you guys.
I myself have been thinking maybe it would be fitting to go with Leonin. Maybe.
Oh, I thought you were doing a Drow Ranger.
Yeah, Foxy.
It's Drow Ranger is basically already existing. No, it's actually a human ranger.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that was why I was asking, because it will only let me join that campaign as a character, and all my slots are used up on D&D and Beyond, so I need to look at what's...
Interesting.
Well, for some reason, Nori and Marlon are double. And it won't give me anything else to join with. That's why I questioned. Because I didn't want to go joining as Daisy and then it be completely the
you
wrong
should be able to have the option to create a new character.
era. It says join campaign.
But if people absolutely want me to, I can also play the Drow Ranger.
It's your choice.
I vote for yes.
Yes.
I want to see it.
So anyway, let's go a few dice rolls. So we've got 3 1s, a 2, and a 3. So I think by that notion, then you guys would like to be in the first era, the era of heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's going that way. The dice has said.
That could be fun.
Yes.
You guys could literally be at the founding of certain key things in Elven society.
Uh-oh.
Well, then it would actually make sense for me to play a Drow
Indeed.
Ranger.
So, but also for you guys who want a bit of help with this then, because this actually ties in rather nicely. So in terms of the Elven creation story, as far as they are concerned as a people, their gods are the gods of the Shinto pantheon. So we're talking Izanami, Izanagi, Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, Susanoo, stuff like that. I can't remember the rest of them. There's so many. And half of them are like the
Wow.
same god, just renamed in terms of like what they actually do.
Yeah, I think might be. I might be going with Susanoo.
I've got
This
the
time around.
storms and things like that. But anyway,
Yeah, God of Storms.
as far as their thing goes, their story really begins when Izanagi and Izanami come across this world. They plunge their spear into the ocean and actually draw up the land from the spear.
Yeah.
And the spear that they leave behind became this great tree. And from the tree, the elves are born. Those that are born on the eastern side, and to the south, where the sun mostly shines, they are the high elves. Those on the darker side are the dark elves. And then, sort of in that middle gap, you get the Wood Elves. Plus all the sub-variants thereof. Bear in mind, when I wrote this, the only books out for D&D were quite literally the core books. Nothing else. So it will be tweaked and adapted to allow for the other elven subspecies. So the Eladrin, the Shader Kai, which are my favourite elf subrace.
Mhm.
Because it's goth and metal as anything. I'm sorry, I represent the realm of death, and I just teleport for free? I'm all down for that.
No, when I played that Shatterkai in the
Battle
in that
Royale.
one shot, yes.
Yeah, the Shader Kai
Yeah.
teleport when you get level 3 is great.
Mhm.
Literally saved my ass from Dom.
Yeah, but from this tree, their society has spread. And during the Age of Heroes, a very feudal society.
Yes.
So it's not like we're dealing with cavemen here. Like, as far as things are concerned now, it's like divided clans. No one's unified under one ruler at this point. The only thing that does unify, in air quotes, are the Royal Guard, which you guys have interacted with over the course of this campaign briefly.
Yes.
So the 13 Royal Guard divisions actually have specific districts across the land, and they are kind of it makes more sense from like an American standpoint. Like, you have state law and federal law.
Yeah.
So you'll have the state police, the Royal Guard are the federal guys. And their areas are divided up like the faces of a clock, but the first division has complete control over the central tree in the main capital city. So you may consider that as an origin for your character. You actually, attended the academy to be trained to become one of these division members, and then, for whatever reason, left or failed the exam.
Yes.
For more information on those royal divisions, feel free to read or watch the Bleach manga and anime.
Oh god.
I wholeheartedly ripped that out.
So, if we're starting right back at the end, this whether this would work or not, do tieflings exist?
Yeah, tieflings exist.
Because I think that I might go tiefling. So I have a slight idea.
Ooh.
Also, that just makes me want to make a winged tiefling. Because, winged tiefling is actually I would say it's pretty broken.
Mm.
But
I don't think tieflings can have wings.
Yeah.
yes, there
no.
is actually a subclass of tiefling which is called winged tiefling, and they can fly. They can fly their movement speed worth, and then just
so there is.
float around.
Yeah, there's the variant ones.
Yeah.
Radisson. I knew they added in more tieflings for like Mordecaians, but I forgot that winged was one of them.
Yeah.
Because they added in all the ones from the different layers of the hells.
I have to drop what
Well, I already
races are
have.
available.
Well, I already have created the name for my next character, but I haven't chosen the race or the class.
Let me.
Well, I was the Skern tiefling to sort of break up if everybody else was sort of going elvish. So if you're gonna do tiefling, then I probably won't. Then
I'm going something completely different.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself in the firing line and go dwarf just to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. If you want to make a tiefling, you are welcome to. I'm not hogging your idea, but I'm actually. I would like to have a little bit different character, so I can also go with Leonin or something else.
Yeah, I've
Actually,
used up all my 6 slots on D&D and Beyond, but I have Nori and Marlon twice. Which I do not understand.
Interesting. I think that Nori and Marlon might be in there twice because it's in the campaign and also in your personal journal.
So in theory, if I
Oh.
deleted level 7 Marlon, this level 16 one would stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hope.
oh,
I'm 99.9% certain that'll stick.
I actually think. What would you people think if I would be playing Leonin Druid?
Okay. Well,
would
when
be-
you say Leonin, you mean like lion or?
Yeah, it's the official name of the race.
Oh. Oh,
It's
that's
like
another
the lion
term,
race.
isn't
Yeah, they're from the Mythic Odyssey to Theros,
it?
Yeah.
Oh.
which is a good book, but a good setting, by the way, if you want to do all the Grecian stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's basically all the myth thing is literally Greek myth.
Yeah. And
actually, it's
also-
funny that you mentioned I was about the a reddish tall thing. I forgot what the Latin for bull. I happen to have a can of such thing on my desk.
Ah. I just went totally not sponsored by Rad Bell.
I like to share. Will there be ninjas? Possibly. We are in like feudal Japan.
Also,
There may be
ninja would
peasants
be-
throwing trowels at lethal velocities.
Yes.
I mean,
It actually makes my choice really difficult because I kind of want to make a ninja. Being that-
essentially, a ninja is basically a rogue.
Yeah, I know.
It's straight up all it is.
That's why it's like a more lethal version of like I'm like trying to decide, should I make a druidish rogue, a samurai, or a ninja?
Well, the fun fact is, if you pick samurai, there is literally a fighter subclass called samurai.
I mean,
Yeah, I know.
So that solves a lot of that problem, and they are an interesting build.
Yes, they are.
in fact, that's
Also-
what my that's what the character that I did the battle royale in, Abosu Kook. They were, I think they were human samurai.
Yes,
Oh.
yes,
If I
it was.
recall correctly.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Although the samurai would actually work because if it's Leonin, it would work perfectly because, well, Leonins are cats and cats are pretty agile.
It's how you would feel you would like to play this. Sadly, D&D Beyond does not give us the option for the honor score.
Oh, dang.
So because it's like an optional rule thing, but for some reason I think the way they've done the sheet and the programming for that doesn't necessarily work. I know it can work for Roll20 though. Because
Yeah.
Roll20 literally just goes, oh okay, I'm looking for this field, add it in. So that's kind of fun.
I'm just more trying to think what everyone else is picking in terms of class, so that I can kind of fit in.
I
Well,
was
Just to be optimal. kind
Yeah.
I
of
was thinking monk, actually. Shatterkai monk.
Well, don't worry about being efficient. Also, don't
no.
forget, you guys get to start at level 2.
Aha.
Yes.
So, to those of you playing like a wizard, you get to pick that wonderful school of magic.
Uh-huh.
To which I've already seen what Dom's picked, and I approve. I highly approve. Although that race could be interesting.
I'm guessing Dom's playing the wizard. The wizard?
I am
I'll let him
telling
declare that,
nothing
but-
at the moment.
The race is an interesting choice. I'll say that much. Only because of how that race works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
But
I
guess
I love that artwork you've got for your one. Marie, where did you get that one from?
Google.
Uh,
I googled Shatterkai female, and that was one of the ones that popped up first. I liked it.
I wonder if it's one from the old D&D, like 4th edition, when they actually first introduced Shaderkai. As in, like, an actual race.
I have played one session of 4th edition, and I said no thank you and went back to 3.5.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, the group that I play with used to play with on the weekends, before I had to work full time, and then lost playing with them. They can only really play over lockdown. We used to play 3.5, then we switched over to 4th, and we gave it a good go. We did all 3 of the core adventures, which was Keep on the Shadowfell. I forgot what the second one was. And then I had the third one, which was the Pyramid of Shadows, which you guys went through for this campaign. And like, we really gave it a good genuine go. And it never gelled. I mean, we could see what they were going for, because we realised, like, oh, the combat system was really quick. But
Yeah.
it was very MMO orientated of, well, I'll sit there and play this and do that, and that's my turn. And we did try to find cool ways of doing the combat. Like, quite literally doing it like a game of poker, so like everyone rolled their initiative, everyone then put their actions face down, didn't tell anybody else what we were doing, and we literally like flipped it, each card for a campaign, or for the action on that turn. Which is kind of cool.
Yes.
That kind of worked out. And then after that, we're like, no. And then we hopped over to Pathfinder, because that was basically 3.5.5. And
Yes.
there we have stayed ever since, even though Pathfinder 2's out and I've yet to play it. I have the PDFs, I have yet to read them or find a group that's willing to play. The monolith has moved!
Oh.
Sorry, I just got news. So you know that
Oh,
monolith
yeah,
we found
it's
in
in-
Utah? It
It's
has
in
reappeared.
Romania now?
Yeah. This has got to be an art installation or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda
this is where, like, in 2021, in January, they reveal a brand new exhibit. Or either this, or this is just a plan to, like, pitch, like, the greatest movie no one wanted.
Yeah.
Isn't that any movie that Michael Bay's been directing? Hey,
I mean... hey.
as a fan of Transformers and G.I. Joe, I was not impressed.
Same.
Younger me was. Older me, who's now lost all that childish whimsy and everything else watching Transformers, yeah, they don't really do much for a good 3/4 of the movie.
I know, right?
Mhm.
It just,
Hey, what
it just
else?
begs the question, what would he have done with biker mice from Mars?
Mm,
I have an answer for you. Remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, don't touch my boys like that. No.
I was going to say, I found out something interesting today with Transformers. Is it Transformers? No. It was Michael Bay's Bad Boys 2, is it? I think he directed. But anyway, in the background scene of Bad Boys 2, there is a 15-year-old Megan Fox stood underneath a waterfall because she wasn't allowed to be in the bar scene because she was underage. And that was how come she got the job in Transformers. Because he'd already cast her before in Bad Boys.
Here's my
And she was made to wash his car as the audition.
Yeah, I know, it was a bit cringy. But here's a weird Michael Bay thing that kind of makes sense. It's kind of weird. So, obviously he did Armageddon and everything else. As cool as a film that was, probably the best he's ever done. But this is how Aerosmith got onto the soundtrack. He'd just wrapped up directing an Aerosmith music video. I was like, Steve Tyler, I'm doing this film. I need a really awesome soundtrack. Do you think you could bash something together for me? Yeah, sure, man, no problem. Give me like a month. And then along came I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, and suddenly Armageddon works.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I really like Aerosmith. They are fantastic live. I hate that fucking song because it got overplayed so much.
Every time I dream of you.
The stat roll needs.
And if I get that song stuck in my head, I'm hopping on a plane and beating all your asses.
No, Kira, I completely understand. But I miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing.
And also, as much as you'd like to, sadly we are in quarantine, so you will be missing a lot of things.
True.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, for you guys for stats, it is 46 dropped the lowest. So, I did actually make a macro. Can I access it on here? Don't think I can.
Can I roll?
I can.
What was the dropping the lowest
Right.
command part?
Say that again, Fox.
What was the dropping the lowest die on Roll20 command?
4d6d1. However, right, before you guys get too far, I have a wonderful solution. So, if you look in the bottom left of your screens right now, there'll be a button called Stats.
Oh, okay, I haven't
I
even got
think on the Roll20 screen.
Yeah,
if
I'm not there.
you will have to go. In that
I'm
case, go
not
to the top
seeing
right.
it either.
Next to the cogwheel, there'll be like a list. That's your collection. I think
If
that
this
should be in there.
works.
No, let me try. Let me try refreshing.
Oh, stats. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Click on that. That will activate the macro.
I'll show macro and quick bar. Oh.
There you go. And then if you click on the button,
Roll,
please. It will roll 60. Well, the 6 stats, dropping the lowest one each time.
Let's have a look. It's rolling.
Yes.
Should do.
It's
the command's
rolling.
quite literally roll 4d6 d1 6 times.
Or 7 times for honor.
Hey, it works. There you go. So Dom got a 14, 14, 17, 10, 15, 14. Dang.
That's pretty good stats.
Yeah.
That is.
I already rolled 2 numbers without peg. Can I just replace 2 with 1 for 2 I already had?
I was going to say, feel free to take these dice rolls because they are quite literally like instant stat generation.
Wow.
Okay.
You know what though? That's
Are
actually.
you rolling this in the game that we've been in?
In fairness, I said that. In fairness, I already rolled a 17 and a 14, so I'm happy with these. Yo.
Yeah, I could roll them next. So let's see.
So what is? All right. So what is it? Oh my. Okay.
Oh my.
So in the top right
Can I
hand
roll them
corner of
again?
Roll20, where you have the cogwheel for my setting,
I'm
next
trying.
to it,
I'm sorry, Dom. Can you repeat that? I couldn't hear you.
Okay, so in the top right hand corner in roll 20, you will see a cogwheel which is for your settings. Next to that is like dots with lines for collection.
Mm-hmm.
You click on that, it'll then have under macros stats and a tick and a blank box which you can click.
Or if you want, you can just literally click the dice and it will roll the dice.
Or do that.
Okay.
Oh my god, this is actually insane. Oh my lord. Oh god, I just need to remember
we'll
what
do closer to like final character creation time and everything else.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna roll
So
my
do we
you.
roll 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets?
That button, that macro rolls the full set.
Yeah, I mean, so we do like one roll and take those stats.
Yep. Click that button once, it rolls
Okay.
all 6.
Okay, let's see what happens.
That was oof.
Yeah, you may have to
Oof.
scroll your view screen because it does take up like one whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn it! I don't think there's a way to send it as like a handout to be like, here's what you rolled.
Yeah.
That programming is a bit beyond me and a bit beyond Roll20, I suspect.
Yeah.
Oh no, I said ouch because I was looking at my rolls.
Were they bad?
I need.
I'm
Nowhere near as good as Dom's.
I'm pretty happy
I'm
with
alright
this
with it.
roll.
I'm okay with them. Wait. Oh, I think I did it twice. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, no.
So chat
Happy with the
know,
latest.
What have we ended up with? Right now, there is a wizard, a monk. Currently, no class selected, no class selected.
Yes.
And one character not existing.
I mean, I haven't made up my mind yet because.
God, who's called Super Ragdoll?
Okay.
Who what? What?
I feel like there's a randomly generated name, Super Ragdoll.
Zopper.
Super Rangdoll.
Zopper. It's Zopper.
That's
Yeah,
how I'm feeling it, Super.
Inspired by one of the saved tigers on the Isle of Wight.
Oh,
She is an ex-circus tiger who is now living in the lap of luxury.
So we've got
Oh.
a monk.
Oh, there's
Let's roll some stats. Okay, I've got 14, 12, 14, 12, 18,
I'm still
14.
looking
Oh,
for a
that's not
picture at the
bad.
minute.
Okay.
so I
God
think
damn
it doesn't show Leonin as a selectable race.
should do. Let me double check my concept management.
Yeah, let me.
Interesting. Where's Mythic of the Seed of Theros? D&D Beyond, you didn't give me mythical thing of Theros. I'll have to fix that.
Yes. Well, I actually probably can choose the rest of
I
my
didn't roll too
things.
bad stats myself. Look at all them 12s and 14s.
So, Samurai was a fighter subclass,
Yep,
correct?
indeed.
Right?
We got. I'm sticking with these boys.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the roll above Tash's. Let us roll, so 10, 15, 12, 14, 14, 10.
Nice.
I will be getting to my class and that in a minute.
I feel like I'm always picking classes last.
Yeah, everyone has their own way of doing it. I tend to think, whoops.
I mean, I tend to pick. No, in a group of people, I tend to pick. No, I tend to be the one who picks their classes last because I don't know. I feel like I want to try and be helpful and kind of balance things out.
The thing is, that I think of a concept and go from there. So, like,
I mean,
what do I feel? What do I want to play? Do I want to play like Goku? In which case, then cool. I'm going to go ahead and pick a human monk with the Sun Soul.
I mean, I'm
But
currently
because,
playing.
I've forgotten the guy's name now. He does the crap guy to D&D series.
Oh, Joe Cat.
Thank you. Well, I was like, Bowcat? No, that's probably
Joe
like
Cat.
a sub-channel he's got. Yeah, Joe Cat, and just like the whole monk thing at the end.
Hmm.
That literally is like, yes, that is straight up Sun Soul
I mean-
monk.
I mean, I am currently playing a Tiefling Sun Soul monk in the Tuesday West Marchers game.
Ooh, very nice.
Hmm.
Oh,
Nice.
by the way, now Mythic Odyssey of Theros is shareable.
The what now?
Okay.
Someone just went and got the Mythic Odyssey of Theros and D&D Beyond.
Come on.
Which is funny, because I could do all the source books and adventures before.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Interesting.
He
Yeah,
says, because I
interesting.
know I don't have this book. Yeah, I can quite happily look at it and flick through everything. I know I can't use stuff in here, which makes sense.
Are we using Tasha's rules in customizing, like, as in, like, putting the appropriate points into? Well, like, if you wanted to sort of dump points into one that isn't necessarily part of your class, would you allow it?
I suppose so. Where's the thing? Is that customizing your origin?
I want to say yes. Let me have a test with. Yeah, let me have a test with a thing.
And if people want
it's
to,
the customizing your origin thing. So you tweak about with some of the ability score increases and everything else.
Okay.
So like you
Cool.
can be
Yeah.
a customized elf. So as opposed to getting the +2 dex, you decide, you know, I'm going to be
Yeah.
+2 strength instead.
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, and my Leonin will be probably dex based, being that aren't summarized like pretty dexterous usually.
Depending on style and fighting and everything else, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to
So
Bleach,
I would.
the thing earlier, like someone like Captain Kyoraku, yeah, I'd say he was a dex based. Someone like Kenpachi, on the
Yeah.
other hand, no, Kenpachi is someone who's min-max strength and nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Let's
get.
have a look see.
Ow.
Bloody hell! Now here's the hard part: picking spells. Oh
No.
god!
Part of being a wizard.
I want to ask, can I be an artificer in this world?
Ooh. During the
Ooh.
era of heroes, yes, although you may find doing things very
Ow.
difficult.
Hmm.
Ow.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, thank you, Twitch chat. Just fireball, only fireball.
I can't.
Fireball.
Well,
All
if
I
you
have to
can't
say
get
is,
it now, then you
Oh.
adapt, improvise, and persevere.
If you watch
Yeah.
the final boss fight, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, that is pretty much my entire wizard's purpose of existence.
Mhm.
Fireballs are happening, and he's getting very pissed off because he can't cast that spell yet. He feels very, very upset.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He keeps Chromatic Orb and Flaming Sphere on hand because he can't cast Fireball. The second he can, there's going to be fireballs.
Are there any backgrounds that you're not allowing? Like I'm looking at Grinner. I'm like, that's kind of not. It could fit, but it doesn't really fit.
What was the background, sorry?
Grinner. It's a Tal'Dorei thing.
I just thought I could
I
do
did.
this one thing that I want to do for a very long time. Brian
Also,
can potentially get upset with this.
But when it comes to the backgrounds and stuff, I may adopt the thing that's in Tash's. Might be a good thing. I believe Tash's gives you some things when it comes to like your background. I think. Certainly when it comes to your race, I'm definitely allowing that because that feels more free building for your characters.
Oh. Are you freaking serious?
I'm sorry, did I ruin your character build?
No,
I was also expecting you guys to go right ahead and start building characters.
No, I'm just clicking on random stuff. I was scrolling through backgrounds and I'd never seen Grinner before. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, oh, okay. It's more for bards and minstrels, but
yeah, well, go for something that feels right for the character and the story you would like to tell.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Neither have I.
That's fine. I suppose the question I should really ask is, he says now looking around for his notebook and realizing he hasn't got it on him, is there anything you guys don't want to do in this new campaign? Like,
die.
Die.
Okay, avoid dying.
Damn it.
I was thinking, like, would you like to do like a political drama, as it were, so like Game of Thrones sort of thing, or would you rather lean?
If we do that, there is no incest. No Lannisters allowed.
Yeah.
Brian stunned into silence.
I wasn't expecting that one. But yeah, stuff like that, like anything you really want to avoid, any cliches and trapfalls. Also, Spoonie, I disagree. I don't think Tash is the best to come out yet.
Excuse you? I will be a glorious, individual, and I will make sure your character suffers during that final fight. I mean, what?
If you were so glorious, then you should be giving us all free copies. But no.
That sentence has been taken way out of context.
Yes.
It's just every single time I hear or read people say, yeah, I have to look into Tasha's. Like, it feels so weird because it's like, oh, they're using my name, but it's not me. And oh god.
But anyway, getting back on topic with the new book that D&D has released. Well, Wizards of the Coast has released for D&D. I don't think it's the best to have come out yet. There's only a lot of good stuff, but I don't think it warrants the price tag of like the Player's Handbook and Xanathar's. Because it feels thin. If that makes sense. It feels like this is the stuff that's been playtested on Unearthed Arcana, has had the feedback, and they've hammered out the problems, and now you can play with it properly.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask Brian if there is a possibility that we could look through my character together.
Yeah, but I wanted to see the time as well, so we'll have to end the stream about there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is all fine
Yeah.
and dandy.
Yes.
Everyone enjoyed?
Indeed.
Yes.
So I hope you enjoyed that finale of the campaign.
Yes.
In terms of upcoming stuff on here going forward, expect the next D&D stream maybe to be more character creation and world building with like everybody here. Do something a bit different.
Yes.
We'll see how things proceed. I don't know how you guys want to like keep your characters isolated from each other or be open and share it about. But for you guys that have been watching, thank you so much for watching and joining us on this wonderful campaign. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe on the YouTube jazz. If you're watching us live on Twitch, drop us a follow, maybe give us a Twitch sub, because Jeff Bezos isn't going to miss that money. Seriously, if you stack his net worth in, I think it's $10 bills, he will be like all the way to the moon right now. That's how much money he has. It's insane. But yeah, no, we'll certainly be back next week. It'll be fine. It just won't be your usual D&D. It'll just be like it'll be this world building style of D&D.
Uh-huh.
But other streams coming out this week, even though like I go back to work and my quarantine is ended. Like Wednesday might be some more Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And then over the weekends, I'm trying something new, and I hope you guys are interested. Obviously, with the recent news of Mr. Grosjean's crash in the F1 Bahrain Grand Prix. Oh, dodged a bullet. I was doing the F1 My Team career mode, but what I'll do is on the Saturday, late at night, I'll be doing the practice and qualifying, and then the Sunday, I do the actual race.
Oh.
Unironically and completely by coincidence, I am racing at Bahrain. So I will do my best and not take out Monsieur Grosjean.
Yeah.
But with that, I hope you've all enjoyed it. We will see you all next time for possibly some other live streams and some D&D. Until then, everybody,
Yes.
I bid you all a fond farewell. And until next time,
Yes.
have fun. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.